Welcome back, friends in the Force, to another video. At the end of Season 5 of the Clone Wars, we were given the conclusion to Darth Maul's story for a while until the release of the Son of Dathomir follow-up comic in the Clone Wars Season 7. In that conclusion, we saw Darth Sidious pay Maul and Savage Opress a personal visit, wherein he fully consolidated his position as a Dark Lord of the Sith and the single Dark Lord by single-handedly taking both Savage and Maul out, and utterly destroying them in a 2v1 that left the mighty Maul begging for mercy. Palpatine, though, decided not to kill him, stating that he had other plans for his former apprentice. While at the time it wasn't explicitly stated what these plans were, as soon as Maul was rescued from captivity by his Death Watch followers, we can make many different theories as to what Palpatine had been wanting from Maul and what he wanted to do with him. We know that Sidious is one who recognizes usefulness in any capacity and wastes nothing that he thinks that he can put to work for him and his greater empire. Despite the fact that Maul had grown so powerful that Sidious was now considering him to be a rival, tells us that the Dark Lord respects Maul and what he has achieved, and can see that he has grown beyond what he was as Sidious's apprentice, deeming him a real viable threat. So then, why didn't Palpatine appoint Maul as a Grand Inquisitor? Surely, with all of his talent in killing Jedi, Maul would have been exceptional in the role as the Grand Inquisitor, easily eclipsing the skill and power of even the current Grand Inquisitor that we know. We don't know if this could have been the reason for his capture as originally intended by Sidious, as in the comic, it seemed that the only thing that Maul was being tortured for was information. So today, we want to answer the question why Sidious decided not to make him an Inquisitor, and why Sidious decided not to recycle Maul's potential. The short answer is, Maul was trained as a Sith, not an Inquisitor. So why does this matter? Let's break it down and compare the difference between the two of them. As many of you know, the Inquisitors have proven to be useful in hunting Jedi as elite Force-sensitive task forces. However, their skills and training in the dark side was incredibly superficial and limited, and they weren't taught in the way that a true Sith apprentice might have been. The Inquisitors were all fallen Jedi themselves. However, unlike Sith, they weren't lured in with promises of power or freedom. They were tortured into submission, taught how to prefer the use of the dark side over the light side, and never taught to aspire to be anything greater than simply serving the Empire and hunting and killing Jedi. Subservient to Darth Vader and the Empire. This was not what Darth Maul was, though, no matter how much torture he was subjected to. Darth Maul will never be taken out of who he was trained to be since his very birth, as again, it is this training that caused Darth Sidious to discard the idea of training Maul as an Inquisitor, or appointing him as the Grand Inquisitor, although admittedly he would have made an excellent one. Even though Sidious never intended Maul to be his true successor, he still trained him into arguably the finest Sith assassin the Order had seen. He was taught the deeper ways of the dark side, and he had a drive and a hunger dangerous enough for Sidious himself to put a stop to. Many fans don't really point out how important it is that Darth Sidious goes directly to confront both Maul and Savage Opress. He doesn't send Grievous or Dooku, he goes directly, as again, he calls Darth Maul a rival. And the Inquisitors, while their goal is to hunt down Jedi, their goal is never to be a rival. Maul would never fit in with the Inquisitors because he would never allow himself to be kept in an eternal position of servitude, and he especially wouldn't take it from his former master's new apprentice in Vader. The rivalry would be far too strong, and Maul's innate Sith-like nature to dominate the ranks and rise up against his oppressors would cause Sidious far too many problems in the future. The fundamental differences between a Sith and an Inquisitor is how they are expected to operate within their ranks. The Sith are taught to be more ambitious and more powerful, having all of the secrets of the Sith at their disposal, while the Inquisitors are in themselves disposable. Perhaps Maul that we know from the Phantom Menace could be swayed in this sort of Inquisitor position, but definitely not the Maul that we see by the end of the Clone Wars. At this point, he is trained and apprenticed in his own, deemed himself a true Dark Lord, and conquered an entire planet after essentially coming back from the dead. He has already tasted what it is like to be on the top, and he himself deems Savage Opress and Maul to be true Sith, hoping that together they can overthrow Palpatine and Darth Sidious and conquer his new empire, which is another major reason why he could never be an Inquisitor, and why, although the thought may have crossed Sidious's mind, it was surely impossible because of Maul and his initial training. Despite all of his power and skill, when you really look at it, it's pretty clear why Sidious wouldn't allow Maul to be in the Inquisitorius. Maul had proven his strength amongst the Mandalorians and commanded their undying respect. It would be pretty easy for him to rally the Inquisitorius and then lead a revolt against Sidious and Vader. While that would definitely be a very cool storyline, Sidious had the wisdom and foresight to prevent this from ever happening in the first place. Though one can't help to wonder what Sidious was going to keep him if he was going to keep him alive. Not just for extracting information for certain, but perhaps Palpatine was going to make use of Maul's position as a ruler of Mandalore, and use him on that front. It is a strong possibility that Sidious would have attempted to strike some sort of bargain, or maybe just force Maul to be the Empire's governor of Mandalore. However, it is revealed in the Son of Dathomir comic that Sidious wanted to keep Maul alive in order to get to Mother Talzin, as he deemed Mother Talzin as a true rival. However, Palpatine still could have used Maul's position as the leader and governor of Mandalore. The Mandalorian people were very strong-willed, and we can tell by the excursions of Moff Gideon that the subjugation of Mandalore was on Palpatine's priority list. Perhaps he knew it would be difficult to fearmonger the powerful Mandalorian people, and he needed to place someone in power that they would respect and honor. And clearly, Maul was the perfect candidate. Of course, the reverence for a Sith assassin was stronger than Sidious had anticipated, and Death Watch wasted no time at all in retrieving their sworn leader in Maul. In the end though, essentially, the answer is that Darth Maul proved to be too powerful and too ambitious to appoint as an Inquisitor. And although I'm sure the thought crossed Sidious's mind, he simply deemed it too dangerous, as Maul had already been trained as a Sith, and those trained as a Sith know true power, not the illusion of power that the Inquisitors hold. But anyway, my friends, tell us about this. Again, if you haven't read it yet, what are your thoughts on the Son of Dathomir comic? What are your thoughts on why Darth Sidious decided not to train Darth Maul as an Inquisitor? And what do you think the Star Wars galaxy would have looked like if Maul was in fact joining the Inquisitorius and became the Grand Inquisitor? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.